It's often referred to by critics as NAFTA on steroids, and would establishing a free trade zone that would stretch from Vietnam to Chile, encompass 800 million people, about a third of world trade and nearly 40% of the global economy. While the text of the treaty has been largely negotiated behind closed doors, more than 600 corporate advisors reportedly have access to the measure, including employees of Halliburton and Monsanto.
This really is one of the first times we've gotten such a glimpse into TPP negotiations here. They've been extremely secret. As I said, members of Congress haven't even been privy to a lot of this stuff. What do these documents released by WikiLeaks today kind of show us?
Well, it's remarkable. We have to depend on WikiLeaks to find out what the hell's going on. I mean, the agreement is really about patents and copyrights primarily.
What has happened is Exxon, DuPont, Dow Chemical, Eli Lilly, Merck, all the big companies have already had great success just gaming the system and taking away sovereignty by way of NAFTA. NAFTA is very weak where it comes to for a foreign entity's right to come in and change a sovereign law. TPP puts NAFTA on steroids. But already we've seen the oil companies force people in Canada that said, you know, we don't want you drilling in our backyard. They've been forced, they've been sued, and the legislation that prevents that drilling has been thrown to the side. Same way with fracking, same way with pricing of pharmaceuticals. This is a complete takeover of what we hold so dearly, and that's the right for us to be able to govern ourselves.
There's a whole set of very worrisome issues relating to internet freedom. Through sort of the back door of the copyright chapter of TPP is a whole chunk of SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act, that activism around the country successfully derailed a year ago.
But it wasn't a dream or a nightmare. It was all very real. And it will happen again. Sure, it will have yet another name, and maybe a different excuse, and probably do its damage in a different way. But make no mistake, the enemies of the freedom to connect have not disappeared.
I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. Politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. That's right. Well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interests.
The people rose up and they caused a sea change in Washington. Not the press, which refused to cover the story. Just coincidentally, their parent companies all happen to be lobbying for the bill. Not the politicians, who are pretty much unanimously in favor of it. And not the companies who had all but given up trying to stop it and decided it was inevitable. It was really stopped by the people themselves.
People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it, the minute you go to collect it, the minute you go to collect it, the minute
guess my hope is not that members of Congress will become better information processors, but that there will be a different kind of member of Congress, right? That if, people self-organize and they have this awareness that resulted from this, that they can change something, the sense of collective efficacy, they'll start electing themselves to Congress, right? And so it won't be about this other over there who we have to persuade. It'll much more be, we'll have a system where normal people can become members of Congress and fight for the things that they fought for online, but as representatives. That's my hope at least. We'll see.